Video games. They're great. Frustrating, challenging, etc. There's different genres as well. Everyone has their preferences. But for me, I prefer whatever catches my eye. Games like Super Mario Bros., Sonic the Hedgehog, the classic Mega Man games, hell, even indie games like Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's. The list goes on. And my style just changes at any given time. One series that hasn't left me was the Mega Man Battle Network series, and by extension, Star Force. I know it's not exactly the best series. BN 1 and 2 were alright. 2 a bit better, but 4 was utter garbage in my opinion. 5 wasn't all that different. 6 was definitely the best of that whole mess and a proper send-off. Kind of. Battle Network 3, though, was always my favourite. I liked the story more. Not perfect, but it's at least the best narrative in the franchise. That's alright with me. I prefer the more realistic style that went above and beyond with the limitations they had to take into account. These games came out on the Game Boy Advance, but I also had the Legacy Collection on Steam. After a while, I felt burned out of Mega Man as a whole. Nothing really happened, I just moved on to other things. I remember being obsessed with the LAN X Mail and Mega Man.exe x Roll.exe ships. That was a phase during that time. An embarrassing but not untrue phase. That's not what this story is about, but it does hold some relevance for later on. One evening, I was feeling rather bored, and I decided to go out for a sweet treat at my local Starbucks. Needing the exercise, I walked to the Starbucks and I ordered a large venti cookie crumble, no coffee and extra whipped cream. They asked me for my name, Kara, and I sat outside, looking at YouTube on my phone, watching something to pass the time. For those curious as to why my name is Kara, no, this isn't my real name. I prefer to keep my privacy. So for this story, you may call me Kara, an abbreviation of the word character. And yes, it's pronounced like that. It's actually funny, considering there's a character called Kara in Undertale, another series which I'm also a fan of. I even went as far as to buy the shirt on Fangamer. I felt connected to the character, you could say. Regarding my brief background, I got my Game Boy Advance when I was a kid, and I played a bunch of Game Boy games like Super Mario Land 1 and 2, the Mario Advance series, and even The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, 4 Swords. It was a game I cried over. But over time, I came to appreciate it more as it was a gift from my grandfather. Unfortunately, I never had any Battle Network cartridges, but it's not like I needed any. I usually just use emulators for games, ones I wasn't able to get my hands on. You guessed it, Battle Network was one of them. Since the Legacy Collection, I felt no need to emulate it, and I only used emulation for other games. As I finished my drink, I began to walk back home. The sun was setting, and it was almost pitch black outside. On my way back, I noticed someone outside with a table and a bunch of stuff on it. It looked like a garage sale. I was curious as to why there was a garage sale before the sun was just about to set. But who knows? Maybe this was out earlier and I just hadn't noticed it. My neighbors are weird, man. I approached the woman running the stand. She simply greeted me, saying hello, and told me to find anything that she thought I was interested in. Curious, I looked through the items. There wasn't really anything noteworthy. A couple of boxes with random Halloween masks and some old bottles, wires, old clothes that looked raggedy. Even books that didn't really catch my interest. Oh wait, I guess there was a Darth Maul toy lightsaber that looked like something I wanted to get my hands on. Aside from that though, nothing much. One thing that did pique my interest though, I saw something black sticking out. I grabbed it to get a closer look. It was a Game Boy Advance cartridge. Turning it over, I saw the game's sticker. Mega Man Battle Network 3, Black. It was a Battle Network game. Not that I had been looking for one, as I've had the Legacy Collection on Steam. I was confused by the name though. Battle Network 3 Black? I'm aware the Japanese version of BN3 Blue was Battle Network Rockman.exe3 Black in Japan, but then I came to the thought that maybe this was a fan-made English translation of that Japanese version. That thought alone made me smile. A real cartridge of one of my favorite games, right in the palm of my hand. I was excited to try out the fan translation that could have been on this cartridge, and I pulled out my wallet to buy it. The woman spoke up and stopped me from taking out my money, saying that I can have it for free. I then glanced at the Darth Maul lightsaber, and I asked how much that was. She said it was $5, which was a really good deal in my opinion. I pulled out a $5 bill and a $1 bill, one for the saber and one for the game. I left it on the table and I told her to keep the extra. I know she said that I could have the game for free, but I still wanted to leave her an extra $1 for it, just so I'd feel better about taking it. On top of that, I've got a Darth Maul lightsaber and a new game cartridge. It was a pretty good night, and I felt quite satisfied with my purchases from the garage sale. That night, I looked for my old Game Boy Advance SP, the one I'd had when I was a kid, and I plugged it into a charger and let it charge. To pass the time, I played with my new toy, and I left the game on top of my bedside dresser, as well as played Sonic X Shadow Generations on Steam. As soon as it was done charging, it was nearly 11 in the evening. I was excited to try out my new game I'd purchased. Without any further notion, I inserted the game and I turned it on. The title screen appeared, just like how it did in the Japanese version, except the words were in English. Mega Man Battle Network 3 Black. It was then I realized that this was indeed an English translation as I hit New Game. The words were in English, just like in the Legacy Collection, only it seemed like the grammar was refined as I continued playing. I played through the first chapter and went on the path of getting the license into the N1 Grand Prix. I got some nice battle chips to use, and I made my way through the first chapter and beat Flashman. There was something odd, however. The villain sequences that usually play in between chapters didn't play. It's like the game just skipped them. Either way, I still had a great time. The game just resumed, and I got the Gutsman V2 battle chip. I know I should have lost that battle to make Dex seem tough in front of his little brother, but I'm one of those people who just needs to give those a reality check. Real or fictional, it felt appropriate nonetheless. What took me by surprise is that Dex actually punched Len in the face, making him fall to the ground. Dex ran off, and the girls, Male and Yai, rushed to his aid, asking if he was alright. Though the face portrait doesn't show the sprite, it looked like it had a tiny few pixels of blood on his face, like some kind of nosebleed. What the hell? This wasn't in the original game, I thought to myself. Sure, Dex was a character who wanted to rival Lan, but he never resorted to violence like that before. In fact, none of the Battle Network games had him ever resort to violence after losing to a net battle. After that whole ordeal, I went to Scilab and was given a sub-pet to put Mega Man in later on. First, I had to get to the next exam on the net for the next trial of the N1 Grand Prix. I finished it with ease, and I was ready for the next phase, where the connection failed between Lan and Mega Man, and I had to race out manually from where Lan jacked in. However, after the screen shook, the music stopped, and the text boxes had stopped. I checked the volume, just to make sure I didn't accidentally turn it down. No, it was all the way up. So what gives? Surprisingly, when I accessed my menu, I heard the sound effect that plays when you open and close it. So the volume was working, but the music was stopped. I walked around as Mega Man for a while, and I found no NPCs anywhere. It's like they all just vanished. I couldn't even talk to Lan anymore, due to Flashman's flashbang that messed up the PET. This wasn't normal. Usually, you could still find NPCs and fight viruses in this scenario, but to my dismay, I found no one. The screen then turned to white, leading me into a virus battle. However, when the battle screen emerged, the game froze without spawning the viruses. I had to fight with just the Buster, as I couldn't access my chip folder without LAN present. However, the background was still moving. There were no viruses spawning. After a bit, a text box came up and said, "But nobody came." The battle ended, sending me back to the overworld. That freaked me out as I read those words. It reminded me of Undertale's No Mercy route, where if you kill a certain amount of monsters in one area, the next battle would tell you that phrase. But why was it playing here? I heard the soundtrack that would normally play after that message in my head. It didn't come from the GBA speakers, mind you. I tried to get back to where I initially had LAN jack in Mega Man, but to my dismay, that too was disabled. Mega Man's text box came up and had a different expression that I was not accustomed to. He looked terrified, confused, like he had no idea what was going on. He didn't say anything, just ... which I admit I was confused too. Seeing Mega Man's new portrait left me speechless, as that face portrait never originated in any of the classic Battle Network games. I tried to get out of the text box. Unfortunately, I was not able to. I left the area and I went back to the main network. Music finally started up, but it wasn't the normal music that played. It was the network is spreading theme that usually played, only in reverse and either slowed down or pitched down. I can't remember. Then I saw something out of the corner of the pathway. It disappeared as soon as I saw it. Another random encounter occurred. Music stopped, and the same thing as before happened. But nobody came. The music continued after that. I saw that thing again. This time, it stayed on screen, and it didn't vanish. It was one of those heel neighbors that are typically bad guys. Before approaching it, I wanted to save my game, just in case. When I tried to save, the game informed me that this was impossible. I was, for lack of better words, stunned. I was not able to save my game. I approached the heel Navis cautiously. As soon as I reached him, he looked at Mega Man, and a dialogue box popped up. He's looking for you. Better run while you can. What? I was confused. Who was looking for me? Mega Man's face portrait appeared looking rather confused. The text box said, ? Like he didn't know what the Navy meant. The text box wouldn't close, no matter what I pressed. Considering the events that had taken place, I felt it was a sign to stop with this alternative path. I sighed and I reset the game, wondering when my last save was. The title screen booted up, and I pressed continue. I was in control of Lan, strangely enough. This wasn't all that surprising, as I recall saving in the overworld before jacking in. But the strangest part was that Mega Man wasn't present in my PET. More text, as Lan expressed how worried he was for his Navi. A ringtone burst at the speakers as Lan's PET rang. Lan answered it in a hurry. A text box of him saying, "Hello?" before the caller on the other end revealed themselves. It was Mail. Mail's expression looked horrified, and her words made my blood run cold. "Lan, help. Someone's in my house. Come quick." The call was cut off with a girl screaming. Without hesitation, I ran straight for Mail's house. When I got there, the lights were off. In a panic, I ran upstairs and found something that made me disgusted. Mail was on the ground. What looked like bruised marks on her face. Next to her was Dax. Only not exactly. The eyes of his sprite were a bright red, which made me cringe. But at the same time, it made me worried about what was going to happen next. Mail screamed out, "Lan, he's hurting me." Before she could say another word, Dex grabbed Mail and forcibly pulled her hair and screamed. Lan jumped in and shoved Dex off her, even going as far as punching him in the face. But in doing so, a dialogue box with an enraged Dex portrait said, You have humiliated me for the last time, Lan Hikari. Dex pulled a knife out of his pocket and stabbed Lan in the chest. Mail screamed in horror, but Lan was still standing and grabbed a nearby blunt object and hit his skull so hard that I heard a loud cracking sound. That made me jump, but I was more horrified at what the hell I saw. Mail was up and holding Lan in her arms. In the background, as Mail was grieving over Lan, some sort of black substance came out of Dex and went onto the floor. That and a mix of blood came out. I don't know what I was looking at, but the black substance actually moved and went out of the room. Mail was sobbing and shedding tears. The text box appeared. Mail confessed, "I love you, Lan. Please, stay with me." Lan was in shock, but smiled after hearing that. Lan couldn't finish his sentence as his body dropped to the ground and he died. Mail was grieving. I hate to admit this, but I actually teared up myself. I was about to shut the game off when the screen faded to black and switched to Mega Man. He wasn't in the same place as I was last time. He was in the undernet area. I took back control and walked around. I was still processing everything that had just went down. Suddenly, a random encounter appeared. Same thing as before. But nobody came. It was eerie at that point because of the substance that had come out of Dex. While walking around, I saw Gutsman and Roll together. They were just standing there, but immediately turned to Mega Man as I approached. Roll was the first to speak. "Oh, Mega, thank goodness you're okay." Mega Man was confused and asked, "What's going on?" Gutsman answered, "We don't know. All the navies and even viruses haven't been showing up all day, and we lost contact with our net OPs," Roll said. "They must be worried sick about us." Mega Man recommended, "Let's stick together. Maybe we'll find a way back somehow." The others nodded in agreement, and just like in, let's say, the Final Fantasy games, Roll and Gutsman walked in front of Mega Man, and their sprites disappeared, signifying that they're part of the party. Now, if you don't know, there are no party systems in the Battle Network games, aside from 5, but it's complicated to explain right now. But as I walked through the undernet, I saw another hill navi. I approached it cautiously like before. It said, "What are you doing here? This is a dangerous place, especially for us. Leave now, before you get deleted." Roll took offense to that. "Hey, watch who you're messing with, pal, or you'll be deleted." The hill navi responded, "I'm being serious. It won't be me that deletes you. It'll be it." What the hell was it? I questioned myself. "Run for your lives. Find a safe place to hide." The hill navi ran away, and I continued onwards. I eventually made it to where you first encountered Flame Man in the game. Gutsman commented, "This is a dead end. Let's go somewhere." Slash. The screen went to white. When it came back, Mega Man and Roll looked at Gutsman. He was sliced in half before he exploded and disappeared. The black substance from before was there. It was frozen. Roll actually grabbed Mega Man out of fear, terrified that a pile of goop wiped out their friend. The black substance started shapeshifting into Hocus. It was black, and the eyes were just as red as the ones I saw with Dex. Mega Man started speaking. "Who are you?" No reply. It just stood there, staring. Roll started trembling. I did as well, feeling freaked out at what I was looking at. A dialogue box finally popped up and started to speak. "You're here. You. I hate you." The shapeshifter slashed at Mega Man. Roll jumped in and got in the way. A sword was impaled in her chest. She looked horrified and coughed up what I could only assume it would be leaking data, which in a Navi's case is basically bleeding out. Mega Man cried out, "Roll!" And the shapeshifter spoke with a sinister grin on his face. "What a shame. I would have actually spared you." Mega Man pointed his buster at him. You. The screen went white again, with a sword clash sound. It faded back, and Mega Man's arm was chopped off. You pathetic excuse of a Navi. Roll could barely speak, but managed to pull some words out. "Mega, I'm sorry. I failed to protect you. Just know, in my heart, I've always loved you." She exploded and was deleted. Mega Man got to his knees at that point. The screen went white again, and we were in a battle scene. The music playing was like a slowed down reverb version of the incident occurrence theme. Mega Man was on his side of the field, his arm completely cut off, onto his knees. The shapeshifter resembling Hocus held a red bloodied knife with a sinister smile and stared at the blue boy. He spoke. "Why? Why are you doing this?" The shapeshifter responded, "You took everything from me. You took my life that should have been mine. All of your friends, rivals, enemies, everyone you knew and loved. All of them are now dead. You'll soon join them. This place may as well be your coffin, because you're already dead. You hear that? You're dead." With no hesitation, it broke the rules completely and went onto Mega Man's field, slashed him with the knife, and deleted Mega Man right on the spot, killing him. The "Mega Man deleted" text popped up and sent me to a game over screen, like nothing happened. I think I started to understand. This wasn't really Hocus. This version of him was a monster. A pure evil, psychopathic, genocidal, murderous monster. He killed every virus, all of his friends, all for the sake of revenge. So, that's how I interpreted it anyway. After I was sent back to the title screen, the continue option was gone. I turned off the GBA and I threw the cartridge in a fit of rage. I felt very strongly about the Battle Network series, and after this experience, I decided to just play some baseball while my parents were asleep. I lit up the fireplace, grabbed my toy lightsaber and the cartridge and batted up. I ended up knocking it into the fire. I think I broke the game on the inside when it impacted the concrete. I tried to forget about that whole ordeal when I went to sleep. Though my thoughts shifted of Mail being the only one left that was still alive, while everyone else she knew and loved died, I'll never know if that psychotic shapeshifter came back for her or not. And frankly, I don't know, and I don't care. It's not like it matters now. The next day, I went to that house where the garage sale was the previous night. I knocked on the door, and a man answered. I asked him about the garage sale the previous night, though he seemed perplexed, as if he didn't know what I was talking about. I went on to tell him that a woman yesterday was selling a bunch of stuff out here on the lawn. I described what she looked like. Pale white skin, green eyes, a dazzling dress, and a silver necklace from what I recall her wearing. The man's expression turned grim, saying that I just described what his daughter looked like. She died near a lake, and all that was recovered was a Game Boy Advance cartridge, which seems to have gone missing. He still has other things to remember her by, thankfully. I was in disbelief to hear this, as I was the one who burned the cartridge the previous night. I thanked the man for his time, and I left as soon as possible. I'm still horrified at that whole experience, seeing my beloved characters die the way they did. I'm not sure who that woman who sold me this game was, or what exactly her intentions were outside this man's house. None of this makes any sense, but honestly, I'd rather I try not to make sense of it. I just want to forget about it. I never did see that woman again. To this day, while I still love Mega Man Battle Network, I now just spend my time playing the classic Sonic games, as well as Minecraft and the new Deltarune chapters. However, the night after that experience, for a few weeks, every night in my dreams, I see red eyes and a red smile staring right at me with a bloodied knife in its hands, waiting for the perfect moment to strike me down.